44 shit, you know what I mean? When that shit drop, you step all the way on their neck, step on their neck and they heal that shit. I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them more what's happening. Now fuck up like a 7-year-old. It's time to kill. Ain't it so like that? I survive. They don't hide it. Got it out the mud. Training blood. They don't hide it. That's but you don't show the skill. I show the skill. You ride, but you don't work the wheel. I work the wheel. They bad. Up the south. From the side. Yes, that can chill. Know they want my life. I ain't worried. I got ready for real. I got real soap. Keep soaping. Niggas watch yourself. They say you been in beast mode lately. You is 9 steps. Really some of that fire. British man, they inquiring. They can't stop what's coming, but I see them conspire on the line and firing. Yeah, you don't break. They don't shine. It's all trust. You can keep your feet. Me and my niggas don't keep no feet. And it feel like Jesus on it. Say they want some smoke, dog. Try to blow these shit. They ain't coming like we. I mean, you can't even cap. These niggas don't run it like we run it. They don't even start. Bitch, I'm with my niggas till it ain't into that food part. If you wanna leave, you can leave, bitch. Let your heart find me. I ain't show no mercy. We gon' show them what time it is. I pop out like a 7-year-old. I got time to kill. Ain't so like that. I survive. You don't hide it. Got it up the blood. Drinking blood. You don't hide it. He nice, but you don't show the skill. I show the skill. You ride, but you don't work the wheel. I work the wheel. So I gotta make people fight. Yeah, that's still. I heard they want my life. I ain't worried. I got referee. Take over in effect. Yeah, I'm fully focused. You might not see it always know it's women and bitch fully loaded. Yeah, we up and rolling. Told them I need made emotion. Nigga, I'm joking. I'ma school them niggas like they baby joke. Got it out because them too clean. Don't nobody hate. What you want out life, dog? Just for the baby boy. UPK top, dog. Suicide roll right. I'ma turn that nigga life into a bad thing. I got time to stand in that. They had that shit on lock until I stepped on them like both blood. You can now study both sides, gotta choose the colors. See him throw that one up with that W, that's my blood, bro. Flying in. I ain't show no mercy, I'm gon' show them more what time it is. I pop out like a 7-year-old. I got time to kill. They can start like that. I survive. They don't hide it. Got it up the dust. Drinking blood. They don't hide it. He nice, but he don't show the skill. I show the skill. He ride, but he don't want the wheel. I work the wheel. Who I gotta make? Yeah, that's shit. Yeah, they want my life. I ain't worried. I got ready for real. Go ahead, clap it up, clap it up. Shalom, Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. And this is I.S.U.P.K. Houston. This is the I.S.U.P.K. Galveston. And we even have Beaumont and Port Arthur. We have all of South Texas, man. And today we are at the Brotherhood class, and we're talking about be the change that you want to see. Like a lot of things that we go through nowadays, we see all these celebrities and all these scandals coming about, and a lot of people are trying to figure out what are they supposed to be following, what are they supposed to be doing. Everybody's just going off of social media, and nobody really knows what they're supposed to do in the world. But here in the I.S.U.P.K, we know what we're supposed to be doing. We know what our mission is. And we know for a fact, for us to change this world, we have to be the change that we want to see. We have to not be and not conform to what this world is giving us, because the only thing that this world is giving us is a surefire death, quick death. And it's time for us to change that, man. And the only way we can change that is first we have to change ourselves. All right, go to Matthew 19. Start off at verse. Start off at verse 23 for me, all right? Because what we're gonna talk about right now is we're gonna talk about what everybody wants in this world right now. Everybody wants to be rich in this world. Nobody wants to struggle. Nobody wants the hardship. Nobody wants the pain. Everybody wants to be rich. And everybody is willing, everybody in the world right now, we are willing to kill ourselves. We are willing to kill others. We are willing to destroy our people. We are willing to do whatever to be rich in this world that we're living in right now, not knowing that this world is going to be destroyed. But just understand this, just because you are rich in this world does not mean that you are going to make it. It does not mean that the Lord, when he comes back, he's going to say, you know what? I know you. Because he's not looking for people that has the wealthy gain right now. He's not looking for those that are just rich in this world. He's looking for people that's rich in spirit, not in the worldly manner, not in materialism, not in the materialistic things. You ain't gotta always have, you ain't gotta have $1 million in your bank account for the Most High to see you. You don't have to have the iciest chain on for the Most High to be like, you know what, I know him. The Most High is looking for those poor people. He's looking for them men. He's looking for those brothers that are not caring about being wealthy. They're caring about saving their people's lives. They're caring about being a good steward, being a good shepherd, being someone that is leading the flock to the right path. Go ahead and read that out.
22, 1922.
Start off at 23 for me.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 23. Then said YAHANNA unto his disciples, verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven.
It said what?
That a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Keep reading.
And then, verse 24. And again, I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God.
Why do you think Christ said that? Why do you think that Christ said, you know what? It is easier to bring a camel through the needle. It's easier, what it say? It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Why do you think that he said that?
Because rich men don't listen. They look at their money as like their God. Anything they want or desire, they like, oh, I can just buy it. So I can do whatever. I got enough money. So
right.
I'm God. So I got the money. You know what I'm saying?
That's it right there. A rich man feels like he's God. He's not looking to follow a God. He's not looking to follow the Most High because he feels like he is God. Like, you cannot sit here and have the riches of this world and still put God first. Like, there's not a lot of people that can do that, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a conflict. You're going to be conflicted because it's going to be do whatever at all costs to get this money or follow the law, statutes, and commandments. I don't know too many rich people that do both. I don't know too many rich people that sit here and follow the law, statutes, and commandments and sit here and do whatever it takes. You don't hear where the conflict can be at? Because we got a lot of people here, they rich off of selling drugs. Literally, they're getting rich off of destroying your people. They are putting the dope, they are putting the sherm, the crack, the heroin. They're putting they're putting the fentanyl, they putting the pills, they putting everything in the community, and that's how they became rich. Most of these rappers, they'll tell you, man, you know, I got rich off of selling bricks. I got rich off of selling pounds. How can you be a follower of Christ and you selling pounds? You can't.
That's Christianity, sir.
Exactly. That's why all of them fall under the Christianity spirit. Because the Christianity spirit is the same way as the dope game, if you really look at it. I done sat here and I done went around and been around the Christian church all my life. I had a father that was a pastor, and he even left the Christian church. And he wanted to start his own church because he saw exactly how they run the Christian church. The heads of the Christian church are just as bad as the kingpins, just as bad as those people that are selling drugs in the community. You want to know why? Because instead of selling packs, instead of selling pounds and bricks, the Christian church is selling what? Hopes and dreams, miracle water. They're selling things that followers that want to be followers of Christ, they read about, and they're hoping that can help them. But these pastors, they know what they're doing. These motivational speakers, as they want to call themselves, know exactly what they're doing. They're doing the will of their father, who is the devil. They're not trying to make us better. They're doing whatever it takes to fatten their pockets. That's the reason why a rich man can't make it into the kingdom. It's hard for a rich man to make it into the kingdom because that means that you can no longer do whatever it takes. You can no longer sell drugs in the community. You can no longer sit here and lie to your people to get the money out of their pockets. There's no more building funds that you can talk about. You done had this building for 30 years. People done put in every month at least $20,000 because you getting grandma out of her whole pension. You getting at least 20 grandmas out of their pensions. You know Paw, he's sending, all the deacons sending up all their money. And you done took all their money for over 30 years. And you still gotta pay on the building fund? Bro, it's so much destruction in the world that we live in right now. It's crazy. People aren't looking, and they're not watching out for who they're following because they want to be just like the people they see above them. The Bible tells you to beware who you follow. Why is it telling you to beware who you follow? It's telling you to beware who you follow because at the end of the day, they can lead you to righteousness or they can lead you to death. And who this world that we're living in right now is following is leading us to death. This is why the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA, this is why we teach and we tell our people all the time, man, stop trying to be like the rich. Do you hear how many scandals is popping up? Bro, every single time you go on social media, you'll see a scandal. Why do you see scandals every time anytime you're on social media? Because all these things that was done in the dark for years is now coming to the light. The Most High God is literally destroying all of your gods that you have. So that way you can come back to the only true God. But a lot of people don't understand it. They just love the scandals. They like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? Oh man, they're talking about Diddy. Oh, they're talking about TD Jakes. Oh, they're talking about Joel Osteen's church. Oh, they're talking about this. But you're not recognizing what's really happening. The Most High God is getting all these false gods out the way so that way the true God can show. But you're too high to understand that it's time for you to put the weed down, put the drugs down, put the lean down. It's time for you to put all those false idols down, and it's time for you to follow the Most High God. You're not understanding that because you're hooked. You're hooked under the limelight of being, you know what? I want to be like LeBron James. Oh, I want to be like Mike. Or I want to be like TD Jakes. I want to be like Diddy. I want to be like all these other people that got all these mansions. I want to be like the rap stars that got this big old mansion, big old house. Look, man, all these people got all those things, but they sold their soul for it. Like, matter of fact, is there any more on that? Keep reading.
Verse 25. When his disciples heard it, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, "Who then can be saved?" But Yahushua beheld them and said unto them, "With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible."
See, that right there is letting you know, man. Everybody talking about faith, right? Everybody is talking about how do I be strong? And what does it say? Through what?
With God, all things are possible.
Bro, you don't have to be rich out in this world to be successful. You don't have to be rich in this world to sit here and really and truthfully get what the Most High has for you. In the I.S.U.P.K, we say this all the time. Do you want to gain the world and lose your soul? Or do you want to gain a soul and lose the world? That's one of the questions that I ask anybody that comes up to me. If you want to talk to me about, what I need to do so that way I can serve the Lord, I'll always ask that question first. You want to gain the world and lose your soul? Or do you want to gain a soul and lose the world? If you're not willing to lose everything that you have in this world, then you're not ready to serve the Most High God. Because the Most High God, look, Christ chose his disciples based off of those that listened. He told all his disciples, drop what you're doing right now and come follow me. You talking about a mustard seed faith? I'm making money. I'm at work right now. And you telling me to stop what I'm doing right now. Quit my job. Quit being with my family. Quit everything I got going on to follow you and do the work of the Lord. See, that's what we need right now. We need those men to sit here and be like, you know what? Forget this world and forget trying to be rich in this world. You know what? I'll be okay with having a job that just lets me make it. I'll have a job that I can pay all my bills. I'm not sitting here struggling. I can take care of my family, but I got enough time to do the work of the Lord. I'll take that job any day over being rich in this world and not having time to do nothing for the Lord. Trust and believe. We will never tell you, you know what? Don't have a job. Don't take care of your family. We're not going to tell you that. As a man, you're supposed to take care of your family. Y'all supposed to come together as husband and wife and do what you're supposed to do to make sure that your family is thriving and succeeding. Because at the end of the day, what we have to do is we have to take care of our children. We have to train our children up. It's hard to train your children up from a homeless shelter. So you need to do what you got to do. But at the same time, you got to make sure that the Lord is first in your house. If the Most High God is not first in your house, then you're not living for him. You living for these riches of this world. And understand this, it's going to be hard for you getting in the kingdom of heaven if you're looking for these riches that's in this world right now. Because when this world falls, what are you going to look up to then? What are you going to do then? When there's no more internet, when there's no more rappers, there's no more big name stars, what are you going to do then? Who are you going to follow then? Don't wait till it's too late to follow the Most High God. Is that it on that? No, we too off on that. Go to John 12 and 25. We're gonna go to John 12 and 25 first. And then after that, we're gonna keep it moving. Because this is gonna be the brotherhood class today. Like, we have to be the change that we want to see. And the only way that we can be a change is we gotta first see what's wrong with what we're doing right now. Right now, we are putting all the riches of the world before the Most High God. Go ahead and read, huh?
This is the book of John, chapter 12, verse 25. He that loveth his life shall lose it. And he that loveth his life in this world shall keep it in unto life eternal. Verse 26.
Wait, read that again. Start it from the top and read it again.
He that loveth his life shall lose it.
He that loveth his life shall lose it. So what is that? What is that speaking about right now? If you love your life, then you'll lose it. I'm not talking about no Illuminati stuff. I ain't talking about doing being no sacrificial lamb. And I'm not talking about that, because a lot of people hear that and they be like, man, that's what all the rappers doing, man. You know, I knew the Illuminati was real. I knew it. Because they're thinking, oh man, for me to be a huge rap star, I gotta lose somebody, or I gotta lose my life. I gotta sell my soul. In the Bible, what is it talking about when it says, if you love your life, you shall lose it?
Stop about the worldly, who you are, the person you are as a worldly person before you get changed, before the washing of your soul.
Exactly, man. It's talking about, you know what? If you truly love your life, if you truly want better for yourself, you got to first kill the old man. You got to kill the old creature that was doing all the things that was wrong. If you was a drug dealer and you want to really change your life, don't wait till you get locked up and you about to do football numbers to want to change your life. You can change your life right now. Stop selling. Get rid of everything that you have that the Lord did not want for you in the first place. If you are murderers, don't murder anymore. Change your life. If you a pimp, stop pimping. Stop pimping and making whores of the daughters of Zion. If you love your life, you got to first kill the old you. You got to become somebody new. You got to be a real follower of Christ. A real follower of Christ know for a fact, man, for me to be somebody new, I have to kill the old me. If I was a person that loved robbing, I'm no longer a robber. If I was a person that loved doing all the things, if I was a drug addict, if I was a drug abuser, if I was somebody that, man, if I woke up, like, we all tell our stories, man. I used to smoke weed like every single day. I'll wake up, already had one pre-roll. Wake up, smoke, brush my teeth, then smoke again, eat, wait a couple hours, then smoke again. I was a weed addict. While I was smoking weed, I would never say I was a weed addict, because it would make me seem like what? I was addicted to it. I was someone that couldn't ever go without it. Every time I heard someone say, "Oh, you're a drug addict," it means like I always saw like Pookie off of New Jack. I always saw somebody that was like, man, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. That was what I saw as an addict. But an addict is someone that literally you have to go every single day with it. If you don't have that, then what? You're not the right person no more. You're angry. Anything will make you snap just like that. So coming into the truth, I had to kill the old me. I could no longer smoke weed. So that let me know right then and there when they sat here and said, hey, if you gonna go ahead and smoke weed, then you might as well suck a rod. That was the thing. That was the straw for me. That was the final straw right there. Like, I ain't part of the alternative lifestyle. I ain't a part of that. But you telling me if I'm smoking weed, I might as well put a rod in my. You know what? I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm gonna put this weed down. I'm straight on that. Because at the end of the day, I love my life more than I love doing the things that are of this world. So when the Bible tells you, if you love your life, you shall lose it. Understand this. The only way for you to be somebody brand new and somebody different, you have to first kill the old you. Keep reading, huh?
And he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal.
I got a question. Why do you think it said that he that hated his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternally? Do you love the conditions that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are in right now? Why don't you like the conditions that we're in right now?
Because we didn't have conditions, we down low.
We down low, right? We at the bottom. We struggling. we around here in conditions that the weak could not live in. Anybody that's weak would kill themselves if they had to live in the conditions that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians live in right now. But you also know one thing, dog. The fact that we hate this life in this world is the reason why we should be getting closer to the Most High God. Because the only person that can help us in the world that we're living in right now is the Lord, is the Most High, is these scriptures, is the law, statutes, and commandments. If you want life eternally, you have to get out of this world that you're living in. Get out of it, because the only thing that is showing right now is alternative lifestyles, drugs, molestations, sexual assaults, people being beaten, people being hurt, and it's also trying to break up a household. That's all that we see. Anytime that you're on social media, you can go ahead. Anytime you're on social media, that's all you see. That's the number one things that you see on social media. You'll see people being assaulted. You'll see people being, I don't need this man for this. I don't need that. I don't need you for nothing. I'm an independent woman. Well, you know what? Hey, we ain't got to be together. We ain't got nothing to, like, everything that we see is destroying households. And they're pushing the agenda so that way a household couldn't even be strong in the first place. There's no way you can have a strong household and there's two women in the household raising a child. There's no way that you can have a strong household and there's two men together raising a child. Those households will never stand, because the only thing that you're showing is what? You're showing your child, instead of what the Lord wanted for them, you're showing them what you wanted for yourself. You're showing how selfish you are. You're showing how you will destroy everything for a false sense of happiness. How is that changing anything, man? How are you teaching your child to follow Christ when they're seeing Instead of mommy and daddy coming together, being strong as a unit, they're seeing daddy and daddy. What is daddy and daddy? What is that? Mommy and mommy. What is that? There's no way that will stand, huh? Because again, let's just be honest with you. If there was no sperm banks, how are y'all going to reproduce? Because a lot of these women, when it's two women together, you got to go to a sperm bank, or one of y'all gonna be I can't say it like that. Let me find the best way to say this. One woman is going to be sneaking and getting the thing that has the vein and the pulse in it, while the other woman thinking that she the only one. That's the best way. Look, that's the best way I could have said that. Because how I would have said it, they probably would have stopped me from stop the rest of my class. But dog, the life that we're living right now, I hate it. The brothers in the I.S.U.P.K and the sisters in the I.S.U.P.K, we hate it. And we hate it because we know what the law, statutes, and commandments is saying. We are followers of Christ. And by us being followers of Christ, we hate this world that we're living in right now. Because this world is nothing but full of lust. And where is the brotherhood and sisterhood in a lustful world that we're living in? I don't see it. Anytime I look around, I see people literally hating on one another, robbing one another. I know I'm not the only person that saw the Brinks truck. The dude in the Brinks truck get robbed at gunpoint. You got to have some type of hate for your own people to make your brothers strip. This brother is just trying to work to feed his family. And you make this brother lay on the floor with a gun on the back of his head and take his pants off. Bro, the ATM was right there. It was already open. Now, if you're trying to get him out the way, you know what? You just make sure he lay on the floor. But the fact that you're ready to humiliate him, the fact that you're willing to put a gun on the back of his head and tell him strip, that shows how much you are a lover of your oppressor. Because that's the same thing that your oppressor did to your ancestors for over 400 years. But he didn't use a pistol. He didn't put a pistol in the back of your neck. What he did was he used the whip. He used torture. If you wasn't following him, he changed you to the floor as a man. He changed you to the floor and had somebody rape you until you followed what he told you to do. If you was a woman, he had you locked up in different kind of BDSM, like gates and chains and all that. And he molested your ancestors. There was times that black men had to watch their wives go into master's house and come back, and he had to sit here and wipe the blood and wipe the right. He had to wipe the master's, you know what, off of his wife and hold her and try to put strength back into her after dealing with the heinous crimes that was done to her. And you're doing the same thing right now in this world because you are following the richest and the rich people of this world when you should be a follower of Christ and you should be loving one another. You should be doing what the Most High God told you to do, and that's follow his law, statutes, and commandments. Hey, go to 1 Timothy. We're gonna drop where we was at right here. We're gonna go to 1 Timothy's start at 6 and 9. Like, it's too much going on in this world right now for us to sit here and just be happy with this, man. And I know it's crazy that we have to talk about the rich people of this world, but everybody is following after the rich people of this world. Nobody is following after the poor people. I don't see nobody following, besides the people in the I.S.U.P.K, I don't see nobody following Commander General YAHANNA. Commander General YAHANNA, I won't say Commander General YAHANNA is poor because he's rich in spirit. I won't say none of the generals is poor because they are all rich in spirit. You don't have to sit here and show off. That's one thing that I admire about the generals, dog. Out of all the times doing shamar for the generals, and all the times doing, like, making sure that everybody is safe in the school, I've never seen the generals floss. I've never seen them flaunt. I've never seen Commander General YAHANNA and all the generals, I've never seen them wear big chains and just millions of dollars around their neck, pulling up in Bentleys, and I've never seen them do that. But you know what I have seen them do? I have seen them give money to the people that need it. Back on?
Don't you start.
All right, Most High in Christ. Salaki, we had a little technical difficulties, but I've seen the generals send money to feed the brothers that was under the border, under the bridge in the border, the Haitian brothers. I've seen them send money to go to El Paso to clothe the Hispanic brothers and sisters and their families and their children that had no shelter. I've seen them do everything that they could to make it where the 12 tribes of Israel were always good. I've seen that. And the Lord was in the midst of that. They'll never take credit for that, because you want to know why? They'll say Most High in Christ. It was the Lord. It wasn't me. The Lord gave us this. And if the Lord gave us this, it was for his people. It wasn't for us. That's not what rich people say. Go ahead and read. You got it?
Okay.
All right.
This is 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and harmful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Understand this, man. Like, this scripture right here. Sit down. This scripture right here, that sums up everything that's going on right now. What are you seeing with all these rich men right now? What are you seeing with all these people that are rich? What are you seeing from them?
Oh, they getting drawn into their temptation. They flying girls out. They splurging. They all are getting high, getting drunk. You know what I'm saying? Doing all the lust.
Right. There's a lot of people right now that's getting caught up in all these different scandals and all these different, people saying, oh, this person touched me, this person did this to me. And you want to know why? Because everybody's drug addicts. And not only are they drug addicts, but they feel like they're gods because everybody wants to be like them. And by everybody wanting to be like them, what are they doing? They're putting themselves on a high pedestal for they feel like they can do whatever they want to and can't nobody touch them. Now everybody's in the courtroom taking plea deals, talking about if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me. But that shouldn't even be the case. You shouldn't have to be looking in front of no judge. Not if you're following the law, statutes, and commandments. You're following to these snares. If you don't know what snares are traps. Like, there's a lot of things. And it says not only is it snares, but it says many foolish and hurtful lusts. Man, just let's just imagine for a moment. A lot of these artists, right? A lot of the artists, what are they coming out and saying right now? A lot of people that got out the industry, what are they saying?
Oh, it's crazy. There's a whole bunch of that SA stuff going on. It's crazy.
Bro, do you know how many artists them sat here and came forth and said, you know what? When I was in the industry, I had to sign a contract. Like when I signed with that record label, it wasn't because I wanted to. It's because they had videos of me that came out and said, you know, I know something. I ain't gonna say their name. That's what they said on the interviews. They sat here and said, look, I ain't gonna say the person's name because I ain't gonna put them out like that. But this dude went to go sign with a record label. He was drinking with them, partying with them. And then the next morning, he woke up and he was hurting from the backside. And he didn't know nothing that happened. He just woke up, he blacked out, woke up, and he was hurting from the backside. And he came back to the record label when it was time to sign the contract, and they played the video for him. Hey man, you a wild boy. I'm telling you right now, like this, I could not make this stuff up. This is the stuff that is on the internet right now. People are coming forth right now. Terry Crews said it happened to him when he went to a mansion party with the rich. He said he had his wife sitting right next to him, standing right next to him. He shook the man's hand and the man grabbed him by his genitals. Like, do you know, like, how strong and how mighty do you have to feel to do assault in that type of form and fashion in broad daylight in front of people? Do you know how high and mighty you have to put yourself up there and people have to look up to you to allow something like that to go on? But this is what's happening in the world that we're living in, man. That's why it's time for us to be that change that we want to see. We shouldn't allow stuff like that to happen. We need to speak against that. Those type of things need to be brought out and it needs to be shut down. Drop that out. Let's go to Matthew 6 and 19. We're going to go to Matthew 6 and 19 now. Just let me know once you get it. Go ahead.
Okay. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 19. Lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth, where mote and rust doeth corrupt.
Moth.
And rust doeth corrupt.
Keep going.
And where thieves break through the seal. But lay up yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal.
Understand this, man. you should not be worried about trying to lay up all these treasures on this earth. Because in a blink of an eye, this whole world could be destroyed. All these mansions and all these cars, all this gold that you have, all this silver that you have, all this money that you got in the banks, all these things that you have, all those things can literally, within a blink of an eye, be gone. You got all these things right now, but if a nuclear bomb comes out of nowhere and just drops without us even knowing that it's going to happen, where are all those things going to be then? You done spent all your time getting the riches of this world that you didn't have no relationship with your Father that was in heaven. And a nuclear bomb comes out of nowhere, and we are in pure desolation. Everything is just messed up. Everything is just flatline, done. Then what? Are you going to start praying to your Father then? Are you going to start talking to your Father then? Why would you wait? Because understand this, the Lord don't hear sinners. The Bible says that. The Bible says the Lord don't hear sinners. So if you're in this world and you're destroying your people, the Lord not hearing your prayers about, man, Lord, I know we got to ride on these dudes. You know, please let us all make it back home safely. And the Lord ain't hearing that. The Lord not hearing you. Okay. Hey, Lord, you know, man, you know, I gotta go on this block and get this money for my family. You know, just protect your boy while I'm out there serving these rocks. The Lord not hearing that. Why do you think that he's hearing your prayers of sin? Why do you think that he's hearing your, hey, Lord, hey, man, I really want this chick, man. Give me her. You know, she bad. I'm trying to put her on my roster. Why do you think he's hearing you and he knows for a fact you're not nobody but a lustful being? You ain't nothing but somebody that wants to have sex with her right now and you ready to throw her back to the wolves later on. Why do you think that he's hearing those things? He's not hearing you. He's not hearing nothing that you're talking about. Stop trying to lay up the treasures of this world, man. Stop trying to sit here and think that all the things that's going on right now, that all these things is going to be forever. Like, these things ain't going to be forever. All these riches of this world is for a little while. You might think it's for a lifetime, but for the Lord or for the Most High, it's just for a little time. He's not studying it. You want to know why? Because he knows right now, if he just snaps his fingers, he knows for a fact you'll lose every single thing that you sat here and been trying to hold on to this whole entire time. It's crazy because, you know, when we were kids, we used to always talk about generational wealth. We also used to talk about generational curses too, the curses that's been passed down from generation to generations. How do you break the curse? How do you get generational wealth? Only when I came into the truth did I really and truthfully understand that generational wealth is through the Lord. It's through the Most High. I can't get generational wealth in the world and try to have and break the generational curses. Because at the end of the day, the people that are the wealthiest in this world, man, they done did so many different underhanded, unlawful, lustful things. Like if you talking about the oppressor got his generational wealth through the backs of the slaves. His ancestors owned slaves, and they took land from my ancestors, from your ancestors. That's how he got that generational wealth. He got that 40 acres and a mule. He got all that money from what? The backs of your people. So the only way that I can get generational wealth right now for my family is by following my Father, our Father, the Most High God. Because if I follow the Most High God, I will have eternal life. My family will have eternal life. They will have riches in the kingdom. I ain't got to worry about right now. Like Captain Yazdak said it best. He said right now, we're on this earth. We're not on this earth for ourselves right now. We're on this earth right now for our children. We are here to give our children everything that they need to succeed in life. So those curses that's been passed down from generations down to generations down to generations, we have to stop it. So that way we don't give those curses to our children. The poverty that we have right now, we have to stop it. You want to know how we can stop it? It's by us loving one another, us coming together as 12 tribes of Israel. Stop hating on one another. Stop killing one another. Stop robbing one another. Stop taking from one another and help one another get out of this barrel that they've been putting us in. They're treating us like we've been crabs all our lives. They didn't put our ancestors in a barrel, and they didn't pass that barrel down from generation to generation. It is time for us to stop acting like the crabs in a barrel, and it's time for us to start helping each other get out this barrel. That's the only way that we can have the generational wealth passed down from generations on down to the generations. Is for us to get our people out of the barrel. It's time for us to help one another out, man. If you are a Hispanic man, just know that you're my brother. If you are Haitian, Jamaican, from the people from Panama, Chile, Guatemala, man, you are my family. And I know for a fact they taught us to hate one another from the beginning. I'm not the only person that used to go to middle school and high school where we used to have blacks versus Mexican fights. That's been going on since before me. Why? Why has that happened? Because we were so similar, and the oppressor has put us against each other from the beginning that we just had no choice but to think, you know what? You feel like you better than me. Oh, they taught you to feel like you're better than us. So you know what? Let's settle it. And the only way we can settle it is by combat. That's what we were taught. But is that what it really is? No. The Lord wanted us to be one. And it's time for us to be one. It's time for us to join ourselves together. Zephaniah 2:1 says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation that's not desired. That's true brotherhood and sisterhood. We got to gather ourselves together and know that we're the nations that's not desired. The Caucasian man is desired in this land. The East Indian man is desired in this land. The African man is desired in this land. The Chinese man is desired in this land. Those 4 different nationalities and 4 different nations are desired in this world. Understand this, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are not desired. And it's time for us to gather ourselves together, come together, treat one another like brothers and sisters, so that way we can be great in this world. Now, we done talked about the rich so much. Now we got to get on these pastors too, because I don't want no pastor to think that they can make it, because they don't make it. They don't make it around here in the I.S.U.P.K, because these pastors are one of the main reasons why our people are destroyed right now. Because our people, our grandparents are going to you, looking for you to help them. And what are you giving them? You're giving them nothing. You're giving them false hope. understand this, man. Let's go in. Let's go into it. We're gonna start off with Matthew 7 and 15. Let's go to Matthew 7 and 15. Because we're going to start talking, and we're just gonna bring out the scriptures. And if the shoe fits, you gotta wear it. That's what we're gonna start. We're gonna play that game. If the shoe fits, you gotta wear it. All right. So go ahead and read once you have it out.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly, they are ravening wolves.
Keep reading.
Verse 16. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles?
Understand this. Let's stop right here. Alan. It says, beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Now, everybody know what a wolf does to sheep, right? What does a wolf do to sheep?
They tear them apart to eat them.
They tear them apart and eat them. Does a wolf just right off the bat just jump on them and grab their necks and kill them and all that? Or does a wolf take its time and stalks the prey, and then when he feels like he has them, pounce on them and get them? What does a wolf do?
Take his time.
Second.
The wolf takes his time, right? Okay. Remember I said we playing the game, if the shoe fits, you got to wear it, right? Okay. So when we're talking about our oppressor, did our oppressor just come right over and just decide to, or did they take their time? Did they send someone over here that was exiled from their land and brought them over here to our land? And he wrote a whole manifest about how these people are so peaceable. These are peaceful people. They taught us this, they taught us that, they taught us how to farm, they taught us how to build and till the land and all that. And I know with a certain amount of men, I can overtake them. Remember, the shoe fits, you got to wear it, right? What about the Christian church? What about the pastors? The pastor's been telling you, first of all, strike one came about when you walk in and you see white Jesus. If you read the Bible, what skin color was Christ? Go ahead, Doc.
Black outline.
He said that his feet and his hands were likened to fine brass that was burnt in the furnace. Where did Caucasian Jesus come from if your feet and your hands was like unto fine brass that was burnt in a furnace? I'm sorry. If I burn a penny right now, if I had a torch and I burnt the penny, is that penny gonna be Caucasian? Is that penny gonna be red? That penny is going to be charcoal black. So where did this false idol come from? It came from the same people that said we were peaceful. And with a certain amount of soldiers, they could overtake us. And now that they've overtook us and enslaved us, they have taught the people that are over the communities. These pastors are over the communities. They have taught you to do what? The same thing that they did to us. But they taught you to do it a little bit differently. They said, you know what? Instead of teaching them the truth, I'm going to give you this Bible. But you know what? Don't bring out everything. No. You can't talk about everything that's in the Bible. You can only talk about these few things that's in the Bible. Talk about love, peace, and that Christ loved everybody. And not only talk about Christ loving everybody, talk about this. That this is the idol of Christ. Matter of fact, hey, do we have that Caesar Borgia? Do we have that photo of him? If it's gonna take too long, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. They have this false idol. Everybody knows. If you ever been in a Christian church, you know what false idol we talking about. You know exactly what we talk. We talking about Caucasian Jesus, the red Jesus that's being sold in every store for candles, every store that has a cross with it and all that. They even made movies with the Caucasian Jesus. That's not Christ. So the fact that as a pastor, as a leader of the community, because anytime something happens with the community, who's the first person that they call on? The pastors. And y'all, and I know we got some people on here, they gonna see this and they'll be like, not my pastor. Not my pastor. My pastor, good pastor. My pastor, he done made sure that the community was safe. But then you find out later on that on these boys' retreats, you know, the retreats that he had the young men go on with the deacons, that all of a sudden one of the young men come back and talk about, you know, somebody touched me. The Bible tells you to beware of these false prophets for a reason, huh? Because inwardly they are ravening wolves. They're wolves trapped in sheep's clothing. They done put on the sheep's clothing for so long that they're really thinking that they're sheeps. Like these pastors of these churches, they don't think that they're doing nothing wrong. They feel like they're actually doing something right. Like that's like the Catholic Church with the little altar boys. These priests and these popes feel like they're really doing something right. They feel like they're really helping the community. When really and truthfully, you're destroying it. I can show you how the Christian church done destroy a bunch of marriages. And I can show you why in the Bible, it tells you to beware of those type of people. Matter of fact, I'll show it. I'll show it. Just go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 37, verse 7. I'll show you exactly why I say what I'm saying right now. Because when there's problems going on in marriages, where do you go? You go to marriage counseling, right? Most people go to the pastor in the church to go to marriage counseling. Why do you think that they go to the pastors in the church for marriage counseling? Because this is supposed to be the holy place. This is supposed to be the place where, you know, they're not going to judge me. They're going to tell me what I need for my marriage to sit here and either get better. That's what most people go to marriage counseling for the marriage to get better. They're not thinking that, oh man, when I go to this marriage counseling, that we're going to get a divorce. Because if you follow Christ, there is no divorce. Christ don't accept a divorce. The only people that accept divorce are the people that took over this land and then made it seem like, you know what, that's okay. You can't be with that person that you chose to lay down with. Nobody sat here and told you, you know what, go lay down with this person. Nobody told you that. You chose that. And by you choosing that, now you have to deal with that person. You know how people take the marriage vows, you know, through the good, through the bad, through the good times and the bad times, through death do us part, right? What happened to death do us part? Now, mind you, I'm not telling y'all to go out here, because you know some people they'll take it, oh, to death do us part. Let me go hurt this person or kill this person, unalive this person, so that way I can part from them. No. I'm talking about enduring to the end. What happened with that? It's because you're going to these churches, you're going to these marriage counselors that don't counsel you based off of the scriptures. They counsel you based off of themselves. Go to Ecclesiasticus 37 and 7. Yeah, 37 and 7. When you got to go ahead and read it for me, please. Robert Shaw.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37, verse 7 in the Apocrypha.
Right.
Every counselor, it's like every counselor exalted counsel. But there is some that counsel for himself.
Keep reading.
Verse 8, beware of a counselor and know before what need he hath, for he will counsel for himself, lest he cast the lot upon thee.
Understand this, man. Everybody keeps talking about, you know what, go to counsel. Go to counseling. Go to counseling because it should work. But you got to be aware about who you allow to counsel you. You got to know what that person's motives is. You got to look at the spirit that comes off of them. You got to look at the fruit that they bear before you decide to sit you in your marriage in front of that person to try to sit here and make it work. Or before you sit yourself in front of them to become, you're going into counseling to be a better person, to let out your burdens, to talk about things that you can't just talk to anybody about because it's so traumatic. It's something that hurts you from years and years and years, and nobody understands you. You got to watch out for the people that you tell your secrets to. You got to watch out for those people because what? People will counsel based off of themselves. Keep reading now.
Verse 9, and say unto thee, thy way is good, and afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall. Verse 10.
Wait, what is that saying right there?
Basically, it's like he put a stumbling block. He know that whatever he gave you, his counsel was not good. And he's like, oh, let me see what he gonna do. See if it's gonna play out like the way I think it is and whatnot. Yeah.
Exactly. Most of these false prophets right now that we are getting counseling from, look, let me tell you, they are not trying to keep a household together. They're giving your wife counsel. See, they're telling your wife, you know what, we might have to, the first counsel that y'all go to together, the first counseling session, y'all together. And then, it's a little, y'all might argue a little bit in the counseling session because emotions are high. So this pastor's like, you know what? All right, let me split y'all up. These counselors is like, let me split y'all up. I'm going to talk to y'all individually, one by one. Because it seems like we can't do it together. Then when they start talking to you individually, they talking to your wife like, what's going on? Man, I hate that Brother Johnson is doing that to you. You know what? I don't know if he sees the queen that you are. Maybe if he don't see the queen that you are, maybe you need to find someone that might see the precious gem and the queen that you are and treat you like the queen that you should be treated like. I always treat my women like queens. Like this is what the counselors do. They are snakes. They slither their way in at all times. Or they'll sit here and be like, you know what? If he ain't gonna treat you the way that you want to be treated, you know what? Then you should leave. You should walk away from him. And if you walk away from him, then he'll do what he's supposed to do. He'll come running back to you, and he'll be right. He'll be the one that you want him to be. And then he'll counsel your husband, be like, hey, Brother Johnson, what's going on, man? Oh, your wife? Oh, she tripping. She not listening to you. Oh, man, I hate to hear that. Well, man, look, let me tell you something, man. If she ain't gonna follow you, man, hey, time for you to let her go. Like, what are you sticking around for? Nah, she better follow you, because if she don't follow you, then she ain't following Christ. Yeah. After he just told your wife that she's a queen and that you're going to be running back to her, he tell you, hey, man, hey, I wouldn't stand for that. And then he sits back like this. And he sees, and he's just waiting to see what happened the next time y'all go to counseling. So the next time y'all go to counseling, what happens? man, hey, she wasn't listening to me, so I told her she got to get out the house. And she talking about, I need to get out the house. So we ain't together right now, and the cops will call. And your wife come up in there, nah, I couldn't deal with that because I'm a queen, like you said. And if he ain't gonna treat me like a queen, then you got to beware of those counselors. Go ahead,
It's crazy you said that, because remember that video? I'm not sure if you've seen the video. It's a video of cops responding, and handcuffed the brother, put him in the car. An acorn hit the top of the car, and the cops emptied their clips into the car where the brother was at, handcuffed with a seatbelt into the car.
That's crazy, That's crazy. Yeah, you know for a fact I'm handcuffed.
Daddy.
You know for a fact I'm in a seatbelt because you buckled me in. You handcuffed me and you buckled me in. And you think that I got a gun? You think somehow, some way, with my hands like this and me being seatbelted, so I'm pushed back right here on my hands, you feel like, oh, I could do something? That's why you got to beware of these counselors, dog. The counselors, you got to beware of those people because those people will sit here and give you such unrighteous counseling that you end up being at odds with one another in a household that if you would have just went to the righteous counselor, you could have fixed everything. You got to go to an unbiased person, the Most High God. Like if you need counseling, go to the generals in the I.S.U.P.K. Go to the captains in the I.S.U.P.K. They will give you righteous counsel. We don't counsel for our own greed. At the end of the day, our job is to keep Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians together. So we will never give you counsel telling you to depart from one another. We're not that type of counsel won't come about unless you have an already volatile household. If y'all are at the point where y'all are literally every single day punching on one another, fighting on one another, trying to stab one another, trying to shoot one another, then you know what? Hey man, maybe y'all need some space for a little while until y'all can come back together and be in love with one another. But you got to beware of those people that give you counsel. You got to look and see their spirit. Go ahead and keep reading on.
Verse 10. Counsel not with one that expecteth thee, and hide thy counsel from such as envy. Verse 11. Neither counsel with a woman touching touching her of whom she is jealous. Of Slakia, of whom she is jealous.
Read that again. Neither consult
with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous.
Keep reading.
Neither with a coward in matters of war, nor with a merchant in matters concerning exchange, nor with a buyer of selling.
All this is telling you, like, beware of all these different peoples. You can't consult with someone that's literally trying to sell you something. If they're trying to sell you a dream, or if it's a man that just really want to be at war, you can't consult with him that just want to. If a man just really want to be at war, what is his counsel going to be? Let's go to war. He's not going to think properly. The only thing he's going to think is like, let's go to war. Let's do this. Let's do that. You can't consult with a woman that only wants what she wants. She's going to be biased. She's not going to be an unbiased person. She's going to only want what she wants at the end of the day. You can't sit here and consult with someone that's trying to sell you anything. You can't consult with someone that is trying to sit here. This is how you know my brother Officer Gabo came in the building. But you can't consult yourselves with someone that only has their agenda in mind. You can't. Because at the end of the day, they're only going to speak on what they want. You got to go to somebody that's unbiased. And that's not there at the Christian church. Now, like I said, there's going to be some people that's going to say, you know, not my pastor, Shalom. Not my pastor, not my Jesus, not my brother. They gonna give me the righteous counseling. Okay. I dare you to try the spirit. That's all I ask you to do. I dare you to try the spirit. Try them. Because I'm telling you right now, their flesh is weak. They love Sister Shanika. Sister Shanika go to the front all the time wearing that skin tight dress. She got the thick thighs. She knows she got that cornbread fed body. And they love her. They waiting on an opportunity to get with her. What do you think the counsel is going to be with her? They gonna take their opportunity to be like, you know what, sister? If that man ain't gonna treat you like a queen, you know what? Come over here, sister. I'll treat you like a queen. Beware of who you want to follow now. Beware of these false prophets now. These false prophets are nothing but ravening wolves, huh? Now, let me tell you something. When it comes down to the scriptures, the Most High God tells you exactly how you should be. He tells you love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Because if you love the world, the love of the Father is not in you. Because it's the things that are the lustful things of this world that are stopping you from being connected with your Father. Go to Matthew 5 and 30. When you have that reading.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell.
Why is that? Why is the scripture? What is this scripture saying, and why is it saying it in such a gruesome manner that it is?
Basically, if one is completely wicked and infectiously wicked, you know what I'm saying, get them out of there. Don't let them stay there and affect the rest of the body, and definitely don't let them break off and, you know what I'm saying, break off and create something else that can take people with them. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm gonna leave. Well, I'm taking about these 7 folks with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't let them get nothing to do anything like that.
Right. The Bible is letting you know right here. It says, if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. Like, you want to know something that's so crazy? All right, so let's just think about it like this. If you have a slit in your hand, right? If this part of your hand is gashed, all right? What is it doing? It's bleeding out, right? What do you do to stop the blood from bleeding out? How do you stop yourself from bleeding out?
Tourniquet.
A tourniquet. What does a tourniquet do?
It cuts off the blood flow so that way it doesn't continue to do.
Right. It cut off the circulation to that spot where you decide to put the tourniquet at, and it cuts it off the blood flow from going to that part. Because if you don't cut it off, then what happens?
You're gonna bleed all the way out, your body will die.
You will bleed all the way out and your body would die. What happens when you're that right hand, right? And people are looking up to you, and the only thing that they see from you is you being a drug addict, a drug abuser, and a drug user. And they're starting to bleed out because they are doing the same things that you are doing.
You're now killing the body.
You're now killing the whole entire body. You're killing the body of Christ because the people that are looking to you, you are now offending. These people are looking for you to be something great. They're looking for you to be something peculiar, something different, and they're seeing you doing wrong. And because you have such a high standard in their mind, you're such a high and mighty person in their mind that they are following you to death. For you to be what the Most High wants you to be, you have to cut off all those things that offend the Most High. You got to cut off. Sometimes you might have to tourniquet and cut off that circulation to that arm that's bleeding out. You want to know why? Because it's better for you to no longer have that arm than for you to offend Christ further by your actions. I would rather cut off my arm than for the Lord to cut me off. Because at the end of the day, if the Lord cuts me off, there's nothing I can do to get back in his good gracious. If he sits here and be like, you know what? I don't know you. I don't know you. Who are you? You were never a follower of me. You was never my son. You are a bastard. You are a heathen. Depart from me. I never knew thee. You know what? Matter of fact, bring him before thee and kneel him down so I can slay him. I would rather be with one arm and the Lord say, well done, my good and faithful servant, than to have both of my arms, both of my legs, and the Lord sit here and say, you know what? Depart from me. I never knew you. You got to understand that these scriptures is telling you to be somebody different, man. The Lord chose us to be a royal priesthood, a peculiar people, holy, which means to be set apart. That's Quadash, man. You can't sit here and be like everybody else in this world, because everybody else in this world are doing what they feel like doing. You got to be set apart. You got to be something that everybody just like, man, hey, man, say, bro, I see you every day. Man, you ain't never in the clubs with us like that. Like, we in the strip clubs all the time making it rain, bro. I don't never see you. All the time I see you, you always passing out food and clothes to the homeless. You always teaching. You always wearing these pants with fringes. Bro, what you got going on, dog? Like, what is this? You got to be someone. You got to let your light shine amongst the darkness. Because we live in a dark world. Oh, it's a dark world we live in right now. And the only way for it to start having light in this dark world that we living in is you got to become the light. Don't hide your light under the bushel. Don't hide it. Let your light shine, man. Be something that everybody be like, hey, you know what? Hey, man, look, that dude right there, don't be around here talking to him about no pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Don't be around here talking about no birthdays, because he ain't for none of that. Man, he ain't trying to celebrate no birthdays. He ain't trying to go to the Valentine's Day luncheon. He ain't trying to go to Thanksgiving luncheon. He ain't going to the Christmas luncheon. He ain't going to the Christmas party. He ain't doing none of that. Because he don't mess with those things, man. So hey, don't even bring that to him. Because if you bring it to him and he hurts your feelings, that's your fault. Don't be the person that everybody wants to sit here and keep testing. Because if they keep testing you, it's because you have not let your light shine to the point where they understand who you are and who you follow. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, we follow the Most High. We don't celebrate holidays. We don't celebrate birthdays. And we're not going to allow you to try to make us celebrate it. We celebrate the high holy days, the ones that's in the Bible that Christ told us to celebrate. The Most High and Christ told us to celebrate. These feast days, the Passover. Everybody know the Passover coming up. If I'm not mistaken, the Passover's in 6 weeks. You see how quickly that Passover just came up on us? Why are we celebrating these pagan holidays when we got these holy days that we can be together as a family? But we wouldn't know about these days if we were living the life of this world. You got to be the change that you want to see. The only way that you'll stop seeing murder on the TV screen and on your phone and all that, the only way you'll stop seeing murder is if you train your children up not to be murderers. If you stop letting them watch all these crazy things. If you were a parent to your children, there's no way there's some drug dealer, some corner boy, some dope dealer could train your child up to be something different than what you trained them to be. You got to stop being so rah, and be a parent. Stop trying to be your child's buddy. I have children. I'm not their buddy. I'm not their pal. I'm their father. Yes, we have fun. Yes, I love them and they love me. But at the end of the day, I'm not your friend. I'm your parent. And it's my job to show you the way. That's just like me being a priest. I'm not who I was back in the day. I ain't the person that y'all knew. Nah. I'm an officer of 5,000 in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA. You're not finna do anything around me. You're not finna bring anything around me. Because at the end of the day, if I get caught up with you, I make the school look bad. I make the Most High and Christ look bad. I make everything that I worked so hard for when I decided to change my life, I make it look bad in a matter of seconds. So if you really want to see a change, you have to change. And you got to understand what comes with that change. What comes with that change comes heartache. It comes good times and bad times. It comes with demons. It comes with more tears. Like, sisters, understand this. You're going to cry. Brothers, I know we act like we hard all the time, but there's some times that brothers sit here and they got to lean on their own brothers. There's times that I had to lean on the I.S.U.P.K and the Adawanyam. There's times. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not ashamed to say that. We grew up in a world that if you sat here and said, man, I had to lean on somebody, you look weak. Coming into the I.S.U.P.K, deciding to change your life and be somebody new, you understood that, you know what, if I come to my brothers and I tell my brothers, you know what, I don't know. It's hard for me right now. Man, I need some counseling. You are really you're one of the strongest people. Because there's not a lot of people that want to do that. Because they're afraid of showing where they're weak at. The only way to strengthen yourself to the point where you have no weaknesses is to get rid of all weaknesses. The only way you can get rid of all weaknesses is for you to lay your weaknesses out in front of your brothers to help you become strong in these aspects, in these things, man. You can't do that when you just trying to be rah, rah, rah all day long. Like, I was talking to General Muhammad not too long ago. General Muhammad said something like, that's why I say anytime I'm around them, I always become a sponge. General Muhammad said, if you want to be somebody different, you can't be somebody different by trying to stop people's words. The only way that you're going to be somebody different is by you changing your actions. If your actions, okay, so let's just be real. If you was on this and that, right? Every single day that everybody saw you, you stayed on this and that. What are people going to call you? They're going to call you, what's this? A whore. Why are they going to call you a whore if you keep walking down the this and that street, you're dressed like, you dressed in a bikini or a thong, and you walking around with mesh, showing your titties and showing your behind? Why do you think they're going to call you a whore? Grab the mic. Grab the mic, Barbara Shaw.
They're gonna call you a whore because you look like a whore and you're around whores.
They're going to call you a whore because you look like a whore, you're dressed like a whore, and you're nothing but around whores, right? Okay. So how do you change that? How do you change people from calling you a whore? You can't walk around and beat up everybody that's calling you a whore. So how do you change people from calling you a whore? What do you have to do?
You gotta change yourself and get up out there, away from around them. You can't be around them all the time.
So that means that you no longer are doing what?
You're no longer walking down this and that.
You're no longer walking down this and that. You're no longer wearing a thong or a bikini or a mesh suit outside for everybody to see you butt naked. If you're a drug dealer, everybody knowing you to be a drug dealer, how do you change people from calling you a drug dealer?
You gotta stop. You gotta stop that way of life. You gotta stop slanging.
Right. You gotta stop slanging. You gotta get off that corner. You gotta close down the shop and never open it again. How do you stop being a coward?
Come to the Israelite school, you go to practical knowledge.
See, brother, hey, brother, give that brother a hand. That brother right there, you smart, brother. You smart. The only way for you to stop being a coward, the only way for you to stop being a sinner, the only way for you to stop being somebody that the Most High God is looking at in disgust is for you to change you. If everybody decided to, you know what, I'm no longer allowing drug dealers in my neighborhood. I'm no longer going to be a drug dealer. I'm no longer going to do all the things that I used to do. I'm going to change my life and never be that person again. I'm going to become a new creature. If everybody, like, cause it's all about accountability of yourself. You can't try to be accountable for everybody else and lose being accountable for your own self. If everybody decided to be accountable for themselves and come out of this sinful nature that we're living in, this sinful world that we're living in, and start being righteous, there's no reason why we can't rule this world. There's no reason why the Most High God is not going to be on his way back down here. It's no reason why. There's no reason why we can't take over this land. But we can't take over this land as long as we're ready to destroy ourselves and others. It's time for us to be the change that we want to see.
Spider-Man.
It's time for us to decide, you know what? I'll come into the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA because these are the only priests and prophets that are going to answer all my questions. They're not going to run from my questions. They're not going to give me wicked counsel. They're not going to sell me a dream. They're going to say stuff that might hurt my feelings. They're going to tell me, hey, stop eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Stop being a drug dealer. Stop being a rapist. Stop being a robber. Stop being a murderer. Stop being a whore. Stop being a part of the alternative lifestyle. There's some people in the school that will say it nicely, and there's some people that's gonna say it like a straight shot, no chaser. There's some people be like, hey, you know what? It's time for you to serve the Lord and stop with the alternative lifestyle. There might be some people that tell you, say, it's time for you to take the rod out your mouth, and it's time for you to be a man that the Lord chose you to be. Depending on who you are, depends on how we come to you. There's no reason for you to be a sinner when you have the answer sitting right here in front of you. The Most High sent his priests and prophets out here for you. The priests and prophets are right now trying to get on the internet. We're trying to flood the airwaves with the Most High's words. But you know what's happening? Everybody is trying to shadow ban. They're trying to block us. They're trying to put us to the point where we can't be known throughout all the gates. You want to know why? It's the same thing that we said earlier when it says that it'll be easier to bring a camel through the eye of a needle than a rich man make it into the kingdom of heaven. You know what they say? Broad is the path of what? Destruction. But narrow is that little straight line, that little tightrope line that you got to walk is the way of righteousness. It's time for our people to decide to be righteous. It's time for us to come back into these laws, statutes, and commandments. It's time for us to love one another. It's time for us to gather ourselves together, O nation that's not desired, and stop letting these other nations decide who we are and what we're going to be for our God. They got their God. Their God told them to worship the cobblestone. Their God told them to worship the cross. Their God told them, I am Caucasian or I am red all over. Our God said, you know what? I only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And the lost sheep of the house of Israel are the 12 tribes of Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, the Haitians, the Jamaicans, the people from Panama, Chile, Puerto Rico, Guatemala, the Native Indians, the Somali Indians, our Mexican brethren. Like, those are the 12 tribes. It is time for us to stand up. It is time for us to push forward. And with that, we're going to say Imagine, which means to stand. We're going to say Sar. We're going to face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, then in English. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, I.S.U.P.K, Yahweh, Malakukah, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Asha, Baratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Ladanadawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawan, Wasalaknawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawafnawa, Wala'ah, Kabaya'aynawa, Bonasai 1, Abal, Hayashanawa, Maya, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Wahata Para, La'awalamia, Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done
Thy will be done.
in earth
In earth.
as it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread.
and forgive us our debts
And forgive us our debts.
as we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
And lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation.
but deliver us
But deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom.
and the power,
And the power.
and the glory
And the glory.
forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it.
SAR, which means face the form. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers and then to the sisters. Men of Israel, Michael Shabbat, Michael, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Barakatah, Yat Matah, SAR, face the sisters. Men of Israel, Michael Shabbat, Michael, Barak, Yahweh Shemalatah Ba'ashem Yahushua,
Yahweh Shemalatah Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Yat Matah, dismiss.
Daddy, is it calling me this one?
What you say, man?